Welcome back, Officer Republic, Sir Coruscant Honorable Police Chief APGAINS. I just wanted to come on and talk for a quick second. As you guys know, I'm busy, so videos are few and far between, and so I'm only really appearing into the ether when there's something I actually want to talk about. The merger of the meta with PVE. Now, obviously, to many of you, that sounds like a no-brainer. The meta has always been good in PVE content. I know many of you, myself usually included, don't particularly care about PVE content, but it seems that CG is taking a more direct approach. Obviously, the next Gungan that we just got released, the Bombardier, or as I will be, well, it's got an extra O, so the Bombardier will be interacting with the new raid, which is cool, I guess. But more importantly, I've noticed from talking to people and also from some of the polling that they've been doing and some of the less interesting lore parts of the posts they've been doing is that they've been caring a little bit more about PvE content as of late. Now, obviously, there is going to be some sort of new Naboo raid, which I think should actually be fun and not give me headaches, which would be helpful. I hate how when you back out, you go back to the main screen instead of to the guild tab. I feel like that's probably smart for most people, but in this case, very annoying. Territory Wars is PvP, but, I mean, I guess they're going to hopefully rework that too. But Territory Battles as well, we're going to get, and I mean, much of the game, Conquest, Galactic Challenges, GAC in some instances, they've kind of just made raids. They've gone for this modular approach where they can make a system and then like, why the fuck is Territory Battles not popping up here? Whatever. And then just iterate on it, and it saves man hours, it saves work, it probably saves them money on employees as well. And so as long as you learn the system, you can kind of figure out how it's going to evolve in the future, and I don't think that's a big shock to anyone. But it appears that this current era, with especially Phantom Menace stuff with the Gungans and Queen Amidala, we're going to get more emphasis on raids, on territory battle expansions. I know they did. I really wish I could actually look at territory battles right now. I know it just ended. But they added zones for things like Cal Kestis, for Baby Cal and all that stuff. And not a great zone, and they're probably going to add one with every new era of content that they do, I would imagine. Now, I know they've been trying for a long time to figure out how to get people more invested in the PvE content. I know it's not a big thing for a lot of people. They've been really trying, especially with things like Conquest, to find ways to help better monetize that. I think that's just because EA has a massive erection for Battle Pass type content. This thing up here that you can do. They've done quite a bit of trying to figure out the consumer behavior behind spending on Conquest and stuff like that. From, would you spend on Conquest Omicrons? What would make the Conquest passes more appealing? Even going so far as to add deployable cooling systems. Or that's legendary. Okay, never mind. Deployable cooling systems no longer here. It was at one point. But, anything that they can get. So I imagine that in the future we are going to get similar things. Yes, for Conquest, in different, monetization for Conquest. I'm sure you guys are all so excited about spending money on Conquest. I think maybe a revamp to the GC system. Maybe a revamp to Territory Wars Best PvP. But a higher emphasis on frequently adding territory battle nodes, because a lot of the money that they make, or historically a lot of the money they make, has been from the top percentage, and as those top percentage kind of fall off, they're trying to figure out how to farm more money from the lower people. Not lower, you're not worth less, your penises aren't bigger or smaller, you just spend less money on the game. You could have tons of money, you could be like APGAINS, to be the richest poor person in the world. And you just choose not to spend your millions and millions and billions and trillions of dollars because I'm secretly a Saudi oil prince. You just decide not to spend it on the game. They're trying to figure out how to farm more out of you. And for a long time, that has been making a premium character extra good for a little bit of time, and that little bit of time usually, unfortunately, is like 9 months to a year. We got this really extremely with the Inquisitors, right? Everyone remembers when the Inquisitors came out. Every fucking galactic challenge for a year straight had the Inquisitors. It got some people to spend on Inquisitors. It didn't get others. Mandalorians had their time in the sun. And I imagine that they might go back to the old well, if you will, on ways to monetize by adding cool characters, but just doing it in a different sense. Maybe it's not GC because people don't particularly care about getting, a couple extra mod slicing materials. It's probably going to go into the form of territory battles or conquest, where if you get the premium character, I mean, people aren't really worried too much about the raids because the raids are actually, I like the raid rework. I don't like playing the current raid because I just don't find it fun. I didn't really like playing the crate raid because I thought it was a little old as well. But assuming that the next Naboo raid is at least not awful, either boring or hard to play without getting headaches, you can probably expect a good amount of spending will go there, especially because they're cool characters, Queen Amidala, the Gungans, stuff like that. They're fan favorites. But I think the opportunity with the Gungans is that they can move that monetization model that they had in Conquest, that they had in Territory, in Galactic Challenges, that they had in raids, and they can finally move it to Territory Battles. I know they tried with Cal Kestis, with the baby Cal node, and you have to have him and Seer at Relic 7 basically to open the node or something like that. I know they tried and ultimately kind of failed at that. Do I have all these characters? I think I do. Maybe I just don't. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, I guess I'm missing Kira shards. But I think now is the opportunity where they can finally move forward with something they've been trying to do for a long time, and it kind of gets carried by the fact that it's a faction that people have wanted for so long, and I think they might be successful. And I don't think that it's a good or bad thing if they aren't successful in this endeavor. I think it's more so the case that it will be a proof. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like a proof of concept and they can move it everywhere else, because it kind of already exists in every single game mode, right? I don't think that's something that people find particularly earth-shatteringly new. But I think maybe if it's successful, they see that it comes on the backs of popular characters, and then maybe we get cooler characters. Not that, I love Star Wars. Basically every character that comes to the game I'm excited for, obviously. But I think going into the well of the characters that people really want, the Gungies, the Revan Reborns, the stuff like that, where people will kind of put up with the increased monetization tactics in exchange for something that they think is really cool. I think a lot of the most successful characters to come out have kind of been off of the back of that. Like the whales are going to whale, and that's why Datacrons were so profitable, because the whales were like, hey, we want... Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that, but the whales are going to whale. But I think to get to the deeper spending player base, I think they're kind of going to have to consider more coming out with characters that are uniquely cool. Obviously, gimmicks like Lightspeed bundles will work, and I think that's probably something that they should continue to do, help people develop their rosters for huge jumps in power and GP to help progress people into the later game to fill up the whales who are periodically leaving, as they do for any game. But I think they can do it off of the back of cooler characters. That was a very meta video. It used to be like 6% of people watch till the very end. Now it's like 2%. If you're a 2%er, let me know. I'll respond to all of my 2%ers. That'll be my new mission until hopefully that number grows to 3%. I'm like, where are all these 2%ers? What the fuck are they talking about? I gained my first subscriber in many months. In like 4 months, I gained my first positive subscriber today. So thank you for the number on my subscriber count being green as opposed to red for the first time in a long time. That really helped my sense of self-worth, because it is entirely dependent on my subscriber count. Okay, thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.